Howdy folks, it's June 3rd, we're in the workshop. We're gonna go outside and Linda is today working on the cedar posts. She's sanding them down. You can see what she'll do is she'll sand these and then there's this beam and she'll sand that, and then today she'll take spar varnish. So you can see how rough this looks. And here, she's just taking some 60 grit and taking the fur off of it. And it really looks nice. It'll take her a couple hours, I'm sure, to do. But that'll be real nice. It'll really make that wood pop. The cedar is so pretty anyways. This week, I'll show you the doors that we're working on in the house, or in the garage, that Linda's varnished and is now starting to paint. But we'll have all 8 doors for our 4 sets of French doors, two sets up there and then 2 sets here. John's gonna be here quite a bit of the week. My hope is that we get this all done and installed this week, the French doors, because once that's done, then it's a green light for getting the siding and the trim on everything. So that'll be our next project on the back here. I've written on the blog here that I had always thought about using Kumara for our decking, but my friend Pete was here and helped me a week ago, Friday and Saturday, on different things, and he used Ipe on his, which is another Brazilian hardwood. Kumara is almost as hard as Ipe, and he said he would never put that type of wood on the outside again. It looks beautiful indoors, but outside it grays pretty quick. So with that in mind, I've wiped off Kumara, which is a cousin to Ipe. I've wiped out Ipe, and I'm gonna go with cedar. And then now that bird's nest, I've held off doing this feature because of that bird's nest, and the bird is apparently abandoned the nest, so we will be able to feature. While I was in Vegas, they called and said that our French doors were ready, and so Linda varnished on Thursday night, on Friday, and on Saturday. We let the varnish cure all day Sunday. This morning she's primed the outside of the door, and you see we use either pine or a Doug fir because it gets painted, and cherry apparently doesn't hold up that well, is what I've been told, to the outside. The inside is cherry. Many of you have seen this before, but this is the way the door is built up. I've got white oak, white oak, white oak, white oak, and then this piece here is cherry. And then we put our, you can see there, that's our cherry veneer, and this right here was our pine or Doug fir. Now, when I sent these doors to the cabinet shop to be sanded, they weren't in as good a shape as the ones that I had sent from upstairs. I had some variations on the thickness of this versus this. And the cabinet shop had to keep sanding until they got it down to thickness where these joints are all flat. And they did an absolutely fantastic, beautiful job on that. And Linda's doing equally as good on the varnishing and painting. So, you know, when my friend Pete was here, he and I put up shakes up there on the right side of that window. And then last Saturday, Linda and I worked about 5 or 6 hours, and we put these up, and it looks like it looks good. It really looks good, and it looks like for Saturday she'll be able to work with me again, because John's here Monday through Friday this week, and her and I don't work together when John's here, because I want to work with John and make sure we get stuff done that I want done. And so I think next on Saturday we should be able to get all of the shakes up, and then we'll have to put up, you see, that's just wood, as is this. Then we'll be able to put up the fascia board and finish it all off so that it looks real pretty. Yesterday was Sunday, and Linda came down and she helped me clear out all the stuff that we had on this front porch. I had this cedar all stacked up in the corners, and then we had the siding here, and we had a bunch of 2x4s, and anyways, we decided that since yesterday Sunday I had to work by myself, because she has other things that she has to do, that I'd put in this deck, or front porch it is. There's our front door. So I've done that. I worked yesterday. I was got a little bit tired. And then today I came in and worked on this, from about that board over. So I think I put in 7 boards. You can see they're a little bit, they can be a little bit warped, okay? Like there's a gap, and you get down there and there is no gap. So what I do when I do this is I try to keep my screws straight. So what I do is I take and put my square down on the edge so that it lines up with the prior screws, and then I put a mark at 1 1/4 and 4 1/2 so that I know where I want my screws, because I'd like to have them they aren't going to be perfectly straight, but I'd like to have them as straight as possible. So I do that. To straighten this board out, what I do after I've made all my marks is I'll take a screw and I'll put it right there, so that there's about a screw width difference between each of the boards. Now this one was really warped bad, and I've got less than that. And then what I do is I take that 2x4, if it's bent, if the board is warped, and I screw it to this floor joist, and then I'll take my flat bar with it and put the flat bar between the 2x4 and this, and crank it back, and then I screw the screw in, and that keeps it pretty straight. So that's what I do on that. Today I only have 3 more boards to do here, and then I run out. So I'll make a list today of things I need. I will, when John comes, I'll be working with him on the doors. But in the meantime, what I'll do is figure out how many steps there are that go from here down to here, and from this post to that post, there's a concrete footing in there down quite a ways. But what I'll do is I'll bare that and get rid of the rock and stone, and then I'll measure from there to here and set up my my stair treads. I have to put in stringers. I'll probably do I'll probably do about where each of the floor joists are. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stringers, which is going to be a lot of stringers, but it's a big entryway. You know, things I'll have to think about as well are handles, railings, you know, to get up, and then a railing along here so that you don't fall off. So that's it. Thanks for following our progress.